Um, I'm Heather Masters, and I've got Naveen here, and we're going to talk about supercharging your hybrid work with Teams. Now, Teams is largely becoming kind of the backbone of how we communicate. It used to be that everything came through email, and Outlook was the place to be. Now, if I'm working all day, I'm mostly in Teams, and that was the way that Teams was designed. So I'm going to skip past the agenda since we're a little bit late in the process. And we'll talk through why Teams works the way it does, and how it's meant to work the way we think. We've got a persona here. Marcus is our user. He's a program manager, and when he starts his day, he's got 14 unread chats, 3 of them about the same project. The decision that he needs was made in a group chat. He was added too late, so he can't scroll back and find it. Notifications buzz for everything. Sound familiar? And most of them are things he doesn't need to know about. So he's turned them off, and now he misses the ones that matter. At 9 a.m., he joins a hybrid meeting from home, types his point into chat, and nobody in the room is watching it. So his desire is, I want work to live somewhere I can find it, and I want to be heard whether I'm in the room or on the screen. Kind of a similar problem as we had just a moment ago, trying to get everything working in person and online, because we're in a hybrid meeting. So Teams was designed for how we actually work. And Microsoft worked with organizational designers to engage those behavioral scientists, not just engineers, to find out how it is that we can work best. And what they found was that none of us are good at multitasking. So just people in general are poor multitaskers. And so we need the ability to see everything in one panel and ignore the things that don't matter. Those designers also gave us the ability to set up our meetings so we've got a few minutes in between, the ability to raise our hands, chats, and now we have threaded replies, which is a really handy way to keep your conversations organized. We've also got live captions, transcripts, and recordings. So we've got the accessibility that we need for everyone. And I always turn on live captions. That's just how I work. You can see I'm wearing glasses. I've had poor vision for a long, long time, since 4th grade. And so I think live captions not only help me with following along in a meeting, but they help me to know whether my audio is working, whether other people are saying things that I'm not catching in the moment. So turning on live captions is really handy, and you'll see us do that here in the demo. So we got 7 habits of great Teams users. The first one is work in channels. That means if the team needs it later, it doesn't belong in a chat. And with our persona Marcus, he had a bunch of chats all about the same topic. Those kind of things belong in a channel. Anyone know the difference between a chat and a channel? So chats can be one-to-one or can be a group. You can name that chat, but your data lives in OneDrive. So if you upload files within that chat, your data lives in OneDrive. A channel is inside a team, and you can have channels for different topics. As a matter of fact, you should. As you create teams, you're able to create the channels that you need and then have those conversations in that channel. Share the files you need in that channel. And it's related to the membership of the team. It's backed by SharePoint. So you're able to have a permanent place where that conversation happened. That means if someone in the team changes their role or you bring in somebody new, you can always add that new person to the team and they're able to see that conversation that happened, learn from that conversation, and get to all the content that they need because they're a member of the team, not because you need to go reshare that content in OneDrive. So channels are where you should work if your team needs it later. Now, if you're saying to a coworker, hey, are we going to grab lunch today? Or where do you want to eat lunch today? That's a chat. That kind of stuff can totally belong in a chat instead of a channel. But if it's something that you need to get back to later and somebody else is going to need to learn from that information, put it in a channel. So reply in the thread. One topic, one conversation, easy to follow. So inside your team's channels, you're able to reply in that particular thread. Tune your notifications. So you have the ability to tune per channel to the important things. So make sure those things are the things that you need to know about and have your notifications on. The way that I manage my notifications is that I like to see all my unread notifications. And then once I've read them, I either have to decide to do something else with them, maybe categorize them, or once they're read, they're gone to me. But pin what you use. It'll take you back to that conversation rather than having to search for it or scroll around. So pin the things you use. Check before you join the pre-join screen when you get into a meeting. Allows you to test your audio. And you can pre-join and see your camera too. So that ends the can you hear me once you get to a meeting. So include the screen, watch chat and hands up, call remote people by name. So if you're having a hybrid meeting, make sure that you're taking care of the people that you can't see, the people that are joined remotely. Watch for chat there, watch for hands up. And when it's time to end the meeting, don't just leave. Because if you're recording the meeting and everyone just leaves, it'll keep on recording. Not forever. We've fixed that. So it doesn't use up your entire OneDrive or your SharePoint site. But it'll still be hanging out there for a while. So make sure to end the meeting. You've got your decisions in chat in the meeting, and then especially if you've been recording the meeting, transcribing the meeting, that recap will kick off. So another reason to end that meeting and not just leave. So a little before and after for Marcus. Before, the project would live in 3 group chats. after. He's moved everything to one channel, one thread per topic, searchable by anyone. Before, he'd have notification buzz for everything or nothing after. He's got the loud and noisy channel tuned. So he's got quiet hours on, and he sees what he needs to see during the day before the meeting ends, when people drift off. After decisions are in the chat, then in the meeting, the room actually closes. You get your recap if you've been recording, and you've got Copilot to be able to get your recap. So think about when to use a chat. Quick, personal, in the moment. Private to the people in the chat. That history leaves when people do. New joiners see nothing that happened before them. The files live in your OneDrive, and it's good for things like I'm running 5 minutes late. But use a channel when you have work that the team owns. Channels are open to everyone on the team. That history stays with the team. New joiners get that full backstory, and files live in the team's library. Good for decisions and projects and documents. So if you're thinking about the Teams rail, and you'll see this in the next visual, on the left navigation side, that activity, that's your inbox for Teams. You can start there, see any @mentions and replies first. And one of the good practices is to set up your notifications for your @mentions and your replies. So you'll know those are important things. If people really want to get in touch with you, they're going to @mention you. And even in email, that @mention, if you start your email with @person's name, they are 20% more likely to look at that email. So use @mentioning liberally to get attention of the people that you need. So that second item in your left rail is going to be chat. This is quick and personal, great for quick conversations, not for decisions about your projects. This next area, now you can combine chat and channels. You'll see this here. That's a relatively new feature where you can combine chat and Teams and channels in one pane. And you can leave them split apart, or you can have them all in one. So you may have two different experiences here, and you can see how to set that up. We'll show you that in a second. But Teams and channels, that's where the work lives. Posts, replies, files, tabs, the whole team can see and search. That is where you should be putting all of your work content. And then that next item in the rail is your calendar and meetings. So you can schedule, join, end your meetings there, including the channel meetings that your whole team can see. All right, so you can see the people on the hybrid meeting could not see what we were talking about. So I am showing here that we've got both chats and channels in our pane here. It's the second place in the navigation, where I've got 3 in my unread. And I was showing that this is a chat. This is this ministerial policy update implementation. This is just a chat. And if I upload a file here, it lands in OneDrive. It's not the greatest place to keep project documentation. However, if I navigate under this, you'll see that I've got channels, and I wonder if I can have this come on with no audio. One second here, having Teams come up, and I'm going to go live demo instead of that recording. Now you'll see that I'm in chat, have my chat and channels available in one experience. And the way that you get this experience, chat and channels combined, is right here in your settings, chats and channels. So it depends on what you'd like to see. If you want them combined in one window, so you only have to go to one, that's great. Hit combined. If you like to separate them, go to separate and you'll have them in two different experiences. I go back to combined here and show you. Now, if you're combined, you have channels and chats right here in this chat pane. So I've got my chats going on and my channels. So I can go back and forth. But what I really like to do is use the unread. So as I get new content for either channels or chats, as I get new unread content, you can see these are meeting chats that have new content, and I've got channels. Now, what's great about channels is that this is a permanent location. It's where the team can work. And when you post in a channel here and add content, we can attach files. We can give them a subject so people can reply on that particular subject. So I'm gonna, wrong. Type in, this is a Senate bill that we're having a conversation around. Now I've uploaded that file. That file now lives in SharePoint. And to navigate inside Teams to SharePoint and go to your files, go to this shared. And I'll get here in a minute. Takes a second to sync up. But anything you post there lands in shared. And you can also navigate directly into SharePoint by saying open in SharePoint. So if you want to work in the larger space there, you're able to do that. So setting up your work in Teams, settings worth your 5 minutes. You go into your settings, decide about chats and channels, pin those handful of chats and channels you use daily. Everything else can live under whatever heading you'd like, but something down below, call it more, call it hidden. You can also mute the chats that you don't need. And you can only show, or if you'd like to, only show the important channels to you in your list that you want visible, hide the ones you only skim. You can still search for content, even if you have that hidden. So you'll still be able to get information that you need to look for later, but you'll only be alerted to the content that you really need to see. You can set your notifications per channel. All new posts are to and get mentions only for the rest. And then keep those at mentions and replies loud. Turn off likes and reactions. That's just going to clutter your notifications. So turn off your likes and reactions notifications. They're not urgent. And use quiet hours so Teams respects your evenings and days off to make sure that you're not getting notifications when you don't need them. So simple test, does this particular thing that someone posted, need me now, turn that notification on. Does it need me today? Set it to mentions only. Am I muting a channel because it's noisy? Fix the channel. You know, you might have a noisy channel out there because you've only got one channel in your team. Add additional channels for different topics, and then that channel that you need won't be as noisy. And can I find my 3 most used spaces in a second? If you can't, if you have to navigate to them, if you have to search for what you're needing, then pin them to the top so you're able to get to them really easily. So Naveen's going to talk about meetings here. I hope I've given you enough time.
Of course, this team looks rather really simple. I don't have a lot of pressing questions from my colleagues. You should see my Microsoft one. We are probably pulling our heads, hundreds of customers, hundreds of colleagues, from product team, a lot of trainings. And sometimes it just gets impossible to kind of manage your teams. Nobody kind of follows the team's channel track, right? Everybody just wants to DM you, like, boom, Naveen, where are you? And someone else jumps in, and Heather jumps in, and Michelle jumps in. We're having our own party, but our manager wants us to join into other side. So we're like all different kind of stuff happening everywhere. So what you see in this screen is really, simple. I mean, you probably guys have much, much messier teams, okay? But of course, what Heather was saying, if you're still in that chat and channel mode, if you see all your channels and your chat, the first thing is to kind of take care of that. So you go up here, you go to settings, and there's lots of great features here. I could probably spend a whole day talking about this, to be honest with you. You have general, like you have a lot of great things you can set up here about your translation features, your time zones. Out of office, who wouldn't want to be out of office? Set that up here right away. There's appearance tab, there's theming going on, different app bar references and stuff. But important chat and channel here, this will give you, well, do I want that chat and channel experience like all in one phase or separate? Personally, I like separate because that way I can focus my attention to 2 different tiers. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy. Okay? But if you have a smaller workload, you are really good at superior at managing your team's chats and communications and channeling, go for it. You can use Combine as well. But of course, lots of customer ask for it, so that's why you have this. Then we have lots of other settings here, show messages preview for chat and Teams name for channels. Want to turn it on, turn it off. How about that Copilot buddy? You want that to be sticking around here or not? It's just like you have some of the controls here. Okay. And then you have more settings here on the message density. What do you want? Prefer compact versus comfy versus last read messages. So you have lots of permutation and combinations going on here. What about read receipt? I mean, I want Heather to see that I read her message, but well, I don't want maybe for someone else. Or it's just for everyone, the read receipts are a nice one. I play that game in my iMessage too, right? I want someone to see when I'm reading their message, someone I don't. And then notification and activity, a lot of great things here. You want to mute all notification except calls and meetings. Sometimes when you're on that part of maybe you're really trying to focus on something and you're just getting blasted by everything and anything, you have different ways to handle it. You could simply go up and pick here your profile. You can set it to do not disturb. That kind of cuts off all the noise, like especially when you're presenting. You don't want to get bombarded with, I mean, you should see it. Like my team's probably going crazy. Like, where is this guy all day? I mean, he's gone missing 2 days now, and I want him, I don't know, all over the places, right? But I'm like, I'm not going to focus on that. So, I mean, I'm going to focus here with the state of North Carolina where I live in Raleigh. So this is great. I want to be here. So you can use different things like busy, do not disturb. Like these are the quick ways to get there. Or you can come here and set your general notification settings. Okay. On the sound settings, you have a lot of display settings here as well. So just go and try it. It's not going to hurt. Everybody's got a different persona. Someone likes, different things. That's why you have like millions of, parameters here that you can, well, I like messages versus not this way. Well, I like messages to be spread far apart versus compact. So just go test it out. I mean, if you're bored sometimes and you have some times to play around with this, you could probably find a lot of gems here. Okay? And that can really like help you with your team's management. Otherwise, sometimes it just gets too overwhelmed. And teams have been bombarding everything, and a lot of people talk about teams anxiety now. So you have to kind of manage like where you are depending on how many messages you're getting. Maybe those one-on-one messages have been hanging on your message thread forever. Maybe it's time to kind of retire those, right? Just hide them. If they want you again, they will hit you again. Why do they need to be on top of the list? Unless you're actively working on that project and you can tag them as a favorites. And you can go from there. And we have a new buddy in our neighborhood called Copilot. And if you have any questions, just ask that guy. Hey, Heather sent me a deck about this North Carolina Innovation Summit from last year. Well, I don't know where that is. Can you help me, please? Okay. And pull me all the messages, conversations that we had with Cam and Ass on DIT and maybe possibly with Bizet here. Just going to pull everything together. So just utilize that. You have a tooling here, probably a lot of investment on that as well. So utilizing teams and all that will definitely help. So going down here, some people like to get tagged. When they love like the mentions, like, hey, at Naveen, like, where are you? You're missing, Some people love that. It shows up in notification, like, yay, we're gonna go jump into that, and that's gonna be my first thing that I'm gonna respond. Some people are just gonna go into the channels and teams and mention that, like, do you like that or you don't like it? If you like that kind of attention, then sure, you can turn it on. If you don't like it, I wanna, like a deep research, I'm working on some environmental inspection things, like I really don't want to deal with this, just turn it off. Okay? So these are like a lot of settings, likes, reactions, replies, posts. There's lots and lots of things here. I'm probably gonna going too fast here, but just kind of gives you a place where you can kind of dive deeper and know more about it. Accounts and orgs are here. Privacy settings, a lot of great things. Do not disturb, contacts, encryptions and stuff. Accessibility, that's huge, right? So you want to turn on some accessibility features. Transcripts always help. Captions always helps. So they have a lot of like, teletypewriters, sign language mode. If you like what we're doing today in our conferences, they're actively, using a sign language for our folks. Devices, there is a call setting, like lots of things here. So please take a look at this. And that is the notification settings. Aside from that, I know we're almost coming out towards the end of our conversation. But I just want to show you something. Well, I just like this left-hand side navigation. It has so much possibilities. You have your activity, like what's going on. That's where they mention you, and you can be on top of that, and you can answer them. And this is your thread, and you can do emojis, task files. You can quickly send a survey, like, why are you bothering me? Ask that question, And then maybe they'll say, well, I'm late for a vacation, so don't set up a 4 o'clock meetings, right? So you have lots of options here. Polls, approvals, Clipsam. Someone talked about Clipsam. That's amazing tool there. Phrases, you think someone did amazing job in your latest project that you're working with, and you want to send that to your manager. Like, hey, Naveen did amazing job in NCDIT thing. He needs a raise, so you can do that. So lots of great options here. Like forms are there, workflows are there. We're talking about Planner in our other sessions, like that's directly integrated here. SharePoint, there's lots of things happening. So don't get overwhelmed, but this is a place where you just make it all happen. Instead of running around in 500 different places, you create a Teams channel, like this one, right, created. NC Innovation Day Planning, okay? Well, someone's gonna do event communication. That's not gonna be me, that's Keith probably. General communication, Heather took care of that, so I don't have to do it. Well, internal only, maybe, Cam and Ash, they want to do their internal stuff, so I created a private channel. And then T minus 10 conversations, like, we're going to do T minus 10, T minus 5, 4, 3, 1, 0, lift off, that kind of conversations, we can do it here. And of course, under assigned tasks, like I want to make everyone's life miserable, so I'm going to start assigning tasks, right? So I created a planner, and I'm going to start like, well, someone's got to start creating those labels, someone's got to start putting the marketing stuff, because there's going to be thousands of people sign up on this event, so we got to look professional. So this is where you can do all that. Then all of the documents that you're uploading, posts. So like, see how organized this is? Although there's a lot of noise, focus on signals, right? These are signals. Lots of noise, lots of noise everywhere in our life, right? I'm gonna focus it. And if you allow your folks to like, hey, whatever project communications were happening, we're not doing one-on-one stuff unless you really have something important. Everything needs to go there. If you leave tomorrow, well, I mean, this is where it stands. That is where our archive's gonna be. The files that we did, the project status meetings, everything. If you're on vacation, I don't want to chase you. We'll probably have everything there, okay? So this is a really nice place where we can organize everything and be successful. With that, I yield. Back to you, Heather.
So with the transcription feature, the question is, does everybody in the meeting see the transcription or only the organizer? Well, it depends on permissions and licensing. So let's say that you are licensed for Copilot, but someone else may not be. You're going to get a recap, but they won't. Now, it's going to save that transcription to your OneDrive. You can share that out in just pure transcript format, but they're not going to get that automatic recap. Meetings in the channel, those live, that transcription is going to live in SharePoint. Yes. There's a good reason to use channel meetings. I think that's a really underutilized feature that we should all use more. Right. That's the combined experience. So you can see everything in one place. Really handy. I think you're absolutely right. So you said that people are using team chats. It might be a name team chat. That's a subgroup of the larger team. Well, there are other options. So inside your teams, you can have a private channel. And that private channel is limited to people that are already members of the team, but just a subset. So you've got shared channels too. Shared channels are cross-team collaboration. So a channel is part of a team. And channels directly map to a folder in the document library in SharePoint. So when you upload to a channel, yes, SharePoint's underneath everything. So when you upload to a channel, it lands in that specific channel folder in the document library. We were just having a conversation in the room about, think about that chat. When you upload a file to chat, it belongs to that person who uploaded it, lands in their OneDrive. That person can leave the organization, and that file expires when their account goes away. So channels is the place to be. Thank you, everyone, for your time.